We're in volume 6 of the Bible story, and my book has two women on a balcony. Not sure what story this is about, but we'll probably get to it. And we are at part 1, story 7, Thrown in the Flames. Know exactly about this one, because we always talk about these guys. Okay, let's get to the story. Only a few people chose to close to the royal enclosure could see and hear what happened next, but everybody tried to. While the golden image still towered, above them, the crowd surged forward to catch a glimpse of the three young men who had dared to defy the king. Many a little boy, I'm sure, climbed on their daddy's shoulders to get a better view of what was going on. Is it true, asked Nebuchadnezzar of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, did ye not serve my God? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I had set up? Then he offered them one more chance, for he had liked these young men. For the first time he had seen them. The band would play again. If they would not fall down before the image, all would have been well. If they would now fall down before the image, all would be well. If not, they were to be cast once into a fiery, burning fiery furnace. And those things are hot. And let me run this trail. I've actually seen, like, some of these archaeological things, what it really looks like. And if you want to put it in one of these modern things, ooh, be molten lava everywhere. Okay. Then it says, and what God, as the king, shall deliver you out of my hands? It was an awful moment for the three young men. Nobody likes to be burnt alive. They could see the smoke rising from the furnace which the king had brought along to deal with people like them, and they knew very well that he would do exactly what he said if they disobeyed him again. Yet they did not flinch. They could have said to themselves, well, just bowing down once wouldn't matter very much. We wouldn't really be worshiping the image. We would just do it to please the king, who has been so good to us. But they did no such thing. They remembered the commandment of God, thou shalt not make unto thee a graven image. And then, thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. And they decided that they must obey God rather than man. O Nebuchadnezzar, they said respectfully, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us out of the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. At this the king became very furious, and could hardly contain his rage. "Heat the furnace," he roared. "Make it 7 times hotter than it has ever been, than it ever was heated before." Yeah, 7 times. That even the guys that were burning died. That's what it says in the Bible. 7 times hotter than what it normally is. So that is going to be really, really hot. Okay. The servants read doing his bidding. Some started to throw more fuel on the fire. Others worked the bellows to fan the flames to white heat. Meanwhile, the strongest men of the king's army had were called to bind the 3 young men with ropes. Hotter and hotter the fire grew the fire, until the king and the whole royal party could feel the heat from it. Now the problem arose as to how to get the young men into it. It it was too hot. Nobody could get near it. Even the mighty men bound, who had bound Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, drew back, wondering what to do next. "Throw them in," yelled the king in a wild anger. The soldiers obeyed. Picking up the 3 men, they moved forward, throwing them into the furnace, then fell to the ground and died from the terrible heat. See, the soldiers died as they were throwing them in. Nebuchadnezzar did not care. His foolish jealousy was now satisfied. Nobody could dare disobey him again. As for the 3 young Hebrews and their God, he was glad to be rid of them. Suddenly a cry was arisen. Was arised. "Look, there's somebody in the fire." "What?" cried the king. "Impossible." But there was. Wide-eyed with amazement, he gazed through the opening doors of the blazing furnace. Yes, there was somebody inside it. 2 people, in fact. No, 3, 4. Others were looking now. Everybody could get close enough to peer in. And then it has a beautiful painting right here by Russell Harlan. And it finally got cool enough that the people could get close enough to see what was happening inside. And there's what was happening. See, the soldiers are still hot and dying from the heat. And the caption said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had been thrown into the fiery furnace for refusing to bow down to the great image, but the king trembled to see the Son of God among them. Okay, we turn the page, and then it says, "Did we not cast 3 men bound into the midst of this fire? Of the fire?" cried the king. "True, O king," said those who were with him. "Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt. And the form of the fourth is like that of is like the Son of God." Forgetting his royal dignity, forgetting the tens of thousands of eyes that were upon him, Nebuchadnezzar left his throne and hurried as near as he dared to the door of the furnace. "Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, he cried, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. They came. They were not burnt in any way, nor were their clothes scorched. All that the fire had consumed were the ropes they had been bound that had bound them. Everybody crowded round to see the astonishing sight. The prince, governors, captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was a hair of their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. How much the vast crowd saw of all this we don't know, but we can be sure that the amazing story was told and retold 10,000 times that day. As for Nebuchadnezzar, he was quite overcome by the experience. He never said another word about his great golden idol. Instead, he declared to all about him, Bless the Lord, blessed be the Lord God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him and have changed the king's word and yield their bodies that they might not serve or worship any god except their own God. Therefore I make a decree that every man, nation, and language would which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, shall be cut to pieces, and their house shall be made a dunghill. In other words, the house is going to be made a bathroom or a latrine. Because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. It was indeed a wonderful deliverance, and God used it to cheer the hearts of his people in the days of their captivity. It must have been a comfort to them to know that he was willing to walk in the fire with those three dear faithful lads. Perhaps he will do the same for you someday. And then, of course, it has them coming out and the dead soldiers in the front and Nebuchadnezzar hiding because it's still hot. Okay. And that was the end of part 1, story 7. So we're going to stop and get ready for the next one. See you in a bit.